Hi everyone. So what are we really paying for when we buy pre-loved luxury? So here I wanted to start the video with some eye candies. These are two oldest bags in my current collection, and I mean that by both their actual age. They're both vintage, from way back in the days, from decades ago, and also in terms of when I purchased them. So I purchased both of them about 10 years ago now. These are definitely just beautiful, beautiful vintage bags that I've purchased, obviously pre-loved, from resellers in Japan. There's been a lot of debate over whether you should go to the boutique route or if you should go pre-loved luxury, and I think there's always a few factors at least at play when you're making that decision. You know, accessibility, pricing are both things that people, routinely think about. But for me, obviously, authenticity when you're purchasing pre-loved luxury it's not even really a factor. It's more like a given. We have to feel comfortable as consumers that what we're paying for is authentic, because otherwise, what are we paying for? Why are we paying, luxury prices, even if it's discounted at the resale level? If we're not really getting authentic bags, or if we don't feel comfortable that we're buying authentic bags, what are we really paying the resellers for? And so I think for me, authenticity is key. And that's why I only purchase pre-loved luxury bags and other items from reputable, or at least in my mind, reputable resellers. And you might have heard from, other channels or just through the grapevine, there's been this case brought by Chanel against a very well-known luxury reseller called the What Goes Around Comes Around. That was brought years and years ago. And finally, they've had some sort of resolution. Of course, the court came out in favor of Chanel. And I think there might be an appeal, but for now, it seems like Chanel has mostly prevailed on their claims. And I want to start by just like with a little bit of that background. So there's a couple things that Chanel complained about there. One is just excessive use of their branding in What Goes Around Comes Around marketing. So for example, I think they were using like Coco, as in Coco Chanel, in their hashtags on social media, and just excessive use of Chanel's logo and branding plastered all over their website. And that part to me seems pretty straightforward. If I was Chanel, I would probably have a problem with that too. But Chanel very interestingly brought up an argument that because What Goes Around Comes Around offers an authenticity guarantee, it's almost suggesting to consumers that there's some sort of partnership affiliation with Chanel, because no one outside of Chanel itself should be able to confirm that something is 100% authentic, right? So that was Chanel's argument. I think to their point, they say that it's misleading for what goes around comes around to say that, to guarantee authenticity. To me, that argument is interesting. I don't know about you, but personally, as a very, I would say, pretty seasoned luxury lover and pre-loved shopper, I know that, these resellers, they're not really partners with these luxury brands that they're carrying unless they announce the partnership, right? We hear from time to time. I think Gucci at one point partnered up with the RealReal. I know Burberry at some point partnered up with Vestiaire Collective. So I think those things to me as a consumer are more exception to the rule. The rule is resellers, if they are standing, if they are offering some sort of an authenticity statement or guarantee, they're basically saying we're confident in our authentication experts and services and we're willing to stand behind that, right? Instead of saying, oh, we're working with the brands that, either Hermes or Chanel, we're actually working with the brand to authenticate your items. But my thoughts aside, that's not the point of the video. In any case, I really only buy from reputable resellers, so I tend to take for granted the authenticity, or at least the implicit promise that these resellers are going to make it right and refund consumers or refund me when something goes wrong, when something turns out not to be authentic. But that's just my assumption. And what exactly are these luxury resellers promising? For example, if I buy an item from one of these platforms, I have it authenticated. Let's say it's Chanel. Everyone agrees Baba Baby seems to be a very recognized authority in the Hermes authentication space. So let's say I buy an Hermes bag off one of these platforms. I get it authenticated by Baba Baby or someone else, some other platform that's very well known, and I was told that the item is likely not authentic, what's my recourse? What are these reseller platforms really promising? So I was really just curious, you know, from reading the Chanel case and all of these discussions about authenticity and all of that, given that I do like to shop pre-loved luxury, especially vintage items, I was just genuinely curious. I surveyed, you know, some of the biggest platforms, at least the platforms that I tend to use a lot. And I wanted to share the results with you in case you're also a pre-loved luxury shopper and you don't want to do all the homework by yourself, although I do encourage that. I hope that what I found out is helpful for you in deciding what you're comfortable with, which platform you feel comfortable and confident in dealing with, and spending, you know, serious money on pre-loved bags. So first, let's start with eBay. Truth be told, I haven't bought anything luxury on eBay, I don't think, in recent years. It's just not one of the platforms that my go-to platforms for luxury items, but I'm starting with them because they are actually the only platform that I surveyed that explicitly say that they have an authenticity guarantee. And I think if you have watched luxury YouTube for a while, you'll know that a lot of YouTubers actually talk about this authenticity guarantee program because, you know, if you go on YouTube and you look at the listings, they actually have a big label, they make a big deal out of it. So I wanted to see exactly what their, you know, authenticity guarantee is. Is it 100% money back or something else? So let's look at their page. It says, authenticators applies their years of industry-specific knowledge to meticulously examine the details of your item, guaranteeing that it's authentic. So this is really interesting. They're saying, we have awesome authenticators, and they're going to examine your item before it's shipped to you. And if the authenticator says that it's authentic, the passing of that exam itself seems to be the guarantee. So you should just take their word for it. And it goes on to say, if the seller does not accept returns or the return is submitted outside the return window, this will be considered final sale and cannot be returned. And there doesn't seem to be an exception for goods that me as a consumer has concerns about authenticity. And so very interestingly, despite its very, you know, outward advertising and marketing of this authenticity guarantee program, it looks like what eBay is saying is just by having experts authenticate your item, that's how they're guaranteeing it. And as long as your item passed their exam, they're saying it's authentic, you're getting it, you can't return it if you disagree. At least that's what the words say. I don't know, you know, as a consumer, you go to them, you're like, I have serious concerns about the authenticity. You know, I sent it back to the boutique and they say it's not authentic. I doubt that people at eBay would refuse to at least try to make it up to you or just try to make you happy, but at least this is their written policy. So it's definitely less favorable. I would expect to see at least some language about, if you think it's not authentic, you know, bring it to us and we'll take a look or something like that, or, you know, we'll give you your money back. None of that. And so that was really interesting. The next 4 platforms are platforms that I actually personally have been using quite a bit in hunting down, you know, luxury, pre-loved luxury treasures. So the first one is Fashionphile. And here you'll see that they have a lifetime return policy should any item we sell prove to be non-authentic. So that seems a little bit more consumer friendly given that it's lifetime. It's a return policy, meaning if something goes wrong, as long as they're in business, you can take it back and at least open up dispute or a claim with them. And the issue is the second part of the sentence, right? It's just any item we sell prove to be non-authentic. They're not clear about what does proof mean? What kind of proof do you need? Does an opinion from Baba Baby or real authentication count as that proof, or do they need something from the boutique? As far as I know, most brands actually don't do authentication for consumers. I know for Hermes, if you send something to the Hermes spa it gets rejected or they say they're going to destroy it, it means that the bag is not authentic. But short of that, I don't know exactly what kind of proof they need, but at least they are confident enough to offer a lifetime return policy. So that's good to know, because I definitely am a big fan of Fashionphile in general and use it quite a bit. So next, let's go to Rebag. It says, if you purchase an item and it is proven to be inauthentic by a verified authenticator, Rebag will honor a full refund upon return of the bag. So I would say the Rebag policy seems pretty similar to the Fashionphile policy. They both offer a return for something that's proven to be inauthentic. Here, Rebag gives a little bit more detail, but not really, about what that proof requires, right? It says it has to be proven by a verified authenticator. I couldn't find any information on what they mean by that. Do they have a list of authenticators that they approve of and would take an opinion from as proof? Or is it just any sort of reputable authenticator? It's not clear. But at least Fashionphile and Rebag both have what seems to be like a lifetime return policy if somehow you can prove to their satisfaction, I assume, that an item that you got from them is not authentic. The next, I would say the next couple of platforms fall in a separate category. The next one, let's talk about the RealReal. No mention of guarantee, but they do say, if you ever have questions about the authenticity of anything you purchase from the RealReal, please contact us, at our email. We will always take the items back to be re-authenticated and will refund if our team has any doubt surrounding the authenticity of the item. So the RealReal, instead of saying, provide some proof by a third party that the item is not authentic, the RealReal says, ship it back to us, we'll take a second look, and if we have any doubt that it might not be authentic, we'll give you a refund, which is, I think fair. I think it's a fair approach. They're still kind of guaranteeing in a way that they're standing behind their authentication, and if they have any doubt, they're willing to give you your money back, which I think is, as a consumer, I'm fairly happy with that policy. Can't ask for too much more. That's about what I would expect from a pre-loved luxury platform. And then finally, Vestiaire Collective, I would say is pretty similar to the RealReal with a slight twist. So Vestiaire Collective, they say about the same thing. If you have any doubt about the authenticity of an item, they would ask you to ship the item to one of their offices, and then they would basically take a second look in authenticating the item. If they have any doubt of the authenticity, they would give you your money back. But if they have no doubt about the authenticity, they would either let you relist the item on their platform subject to their usual seller fees, or you can choose to have it shipped back to you. So basically you keep the item. So I would say yes, the Vestiaire Collective policy is similar to the RealReal policy in that they rely on their internal authentication team to do that second check. If you reach out to them about concerns with authenticity, they basically draw this line between any doubt and no doubt, and they will give you your money back if they don't have, if they have any doubt about the authenticity. So I don't know. I feel like as a consumer, maybe that is slightly more assuming that when you complain about concerns with authenticity, you do have some basis. So for example, if you see that the serial number don't look quite right, some actual signals that something's not authentic, assuming you have that, I have to think that the RealReal and Vestiaire Collective's policies are more favorable. So you don't necessarily need a verified third-party authenticator, whatever that means, to kind of give you that opinion or some proof that without any actual objective criteria. I'm not sure what kind of proof they require. But overall, I would say, surprisingly, despite the fact that eBay has their authenticity guarantee program, it seems like just based on, again, the letter of their policy, it's actually the least favorable for consumers than Fashionphile, Rebag, The RealReal, and Vestiaire. So I was definitely happy to confirm that. Again, I haven't really been shopping luxury on eBay. It's just not a platform I associate with luxury as, immediately as the other platforms that I use. But I think it's good to always be an informed consumer, do the homework, make informed decisions, especially again, when we're spending so much money on material things, beautiful material things, we definitely want to know exactly what are we paying for. We're paying for the bags, of course, or the clothing or the shoes, what have you, but we're also paying for the confidence, the authentication and the confidence that these companies are willing to put behind the items that they're carrying and selling, right? Despite the fact that they are not those brands that initially made the products, they have enough confidence in their authentication experts to put their reputation and their business behind saying that these items are authentic, and they are charging pretty high prices for them. So anyway, that's my rant of the day. I feel like there's just been a lot of discussion about authenticity, and buying pre-loved versus brand new from the store. And I personally was just super curious about the topic, especially in light of the Chanel lawsuit. So I wanted to share my findings with you guys, and I'm very curious as well about what you guys think. Do you shop pre-loved, or do you only feel comfortable buying from the boutique?
Or have you used any of the platforms that we covered today? Or do you know of other platforms that are great for shopping pre-loved luxury? I would love to hear about that. And also, if you do use one of these platforms, in your experience, if you've had to deal with that policy, do you find that they actually follow their policies, or are they actually more consumer friendly? Just please leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. I would love to chat with you. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.